up that particular round? Because this is a really nice execute coming out from the T side of FaZe.
Yeah, I mean, it's just standard default play, right? Team, flash, even Ray doesn't get this kill, which is wild. And, you know, then it's Robs, hey, they're not re-smoking Monster. Let's just go for a contact play here, right? You have Brokey holding in Monster. Smoke is too late. Robs wins the duel, gets traded out. Flash comes in, trades. They're coming into the bomb site, right? Hampus throws the smoke, tries to play around it. Here it gets a little bit awkward because Twist really baited out Brokey here. He's gonna die to Hampus, but even with that, right, like they just get a 2v2 post plant, and you know that's something that they're very good at. I was surprised like by how long Twist was taking it in this round. Right, in the end, it's like they knew they could have assumed that he was close there, but
I assume Kerrigan had told Twist to just like chill, like that smoke's gonna fade and I have the guy in the site. Like do your own thing, don't worry about coming back forward, don't get exposed to heaven. But yeah, I mean, and that was one of the weaknesses we talked about is that swap up of Rez playing over towards the B bomb site, and all of a sudden you've got Rops and Twist coming at you. Two of the most like talented players that we have in the scene, like mechanically gifted players, and it's like, oh, good luck.
Yeah, let's bring up some Rob's highlights because, as you said very aptly, he was incredible on that map. And I think it goes to show just how comfortable FaZe are on this ground. Really well synergized, and it allows Robs to really be unleashed on this round.
I mean, they're very comfortable. And on the other side of things, NIP didn't do all that much to disrupt them or make them uncomfortable, right? Like early on, the reason for that was probably the economy or the lack of it. And later on, might just be a case where, you know, you're getting shut down, maybe your confidence isn't that high, didn't help, you know, Brolin another sort of struggling overpass performance for him, so we'll see how it goes. This was actually completely ridiculous, like the jumping MP9 kill, so.
I mean, the fun thing about this package is like you can see like the depth that Rops has as a player. Like you see some rounds where he's like patient and he's lurking and he's waiting for his moment. He pounces. Some rounds he's aggressive in a different scenario. Other rounds he's just ultra passive and you're going to walk into his crosshair. And he's got so many styles that he can switch into depending on the situation that he's actually playing in. And that's what makes him such a scary player.
And considering the circumstances of FaZe as well, just kind of reflecting on pre-player break too, we heard it from Twist a lot that, you know, the guys were feeling quite fatigued. They were getting tired to the later stages of the season. Kind of didn't really see that from Robs. He was a pillar of consistency basically throughout this year. Yeah,
Robs is a gamer. He's a gamer's gamer. And we'll see now going into Nuke. I think that's where I also give the edge to FaZe. You know, I think it's one of their staple maps in a sense, right? I mean, they've had a lot of big wins in big moments on the map. And for NIP, we've seen like it can be pretty good at times, but also pretty bad at times.
I think that's one of the, like, maybe one of the nice things for NIP is at least they have, like, a couple wins versus Overpass for, like, you've lost to Complex, you've lost to Imperial on it. Here, at least, they've got some big scalps. They've won a match here earlier in the tournament. That was an important one as well. So this is at least a map they can go into with maybe just, even if it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, confidence that they know what they're doing.
Tell me for why, Yanko, then you're looking at FaZe and saying they should be taking this ground of Nuke. What makes them so scary?
I think they have a lot of options on their T side. I think they do a good job of changing the pace, right? Being able to play slow and throw the smokes delayed and work, you know, that side of things, and also have a couple of pocket strategies to change the pace, whether it's the A splits that we have with jumping over silo, jumping over main roof, or simply just going towards the A bomb site. Then again, Robs is the lobby player, so him on the lurk, right, being annoying, sometimes just searching aggressively for duels on ramp as well. I think that's going to be interesting on this map. Because NIP like switches it around. Sometimes they leave ramp, they have that guy go secret or outside to help, depending on what's going on the map. Sometimes they put hat trick there with the AWP. So we'll see what the approach from FaZe will be when it comes to that.
And speaking of the approach from NIP, how differently do you envision Hampus's approach to this map compared to Alexi B? Because we know Hampus is ready to go full force in. He's not afraid to get down and dirty in terms of the entries as well. Do you feel like it's going to be different stylistically with them?
It very well could be. I think, too, you're going to see someone like Hampus isn't going to be afraid to do, like, I think he'll be probably more interested in getting in, like, some momentum calls. Like, some of those upper busts and upper pops, I think he'll be much more, like, keen to, like, get involved in those, get a little scrappy with it. He's got some tools like Config that he's going to be more willing to work with also. So he's got a few more things up his playbook that feels like it lends itself to like simpler but explosive. And sometimes on Nuke, those explosive tactics, if the defense could ever put a stop to them, they're ultra effective.
I think my only concern with NIP really is, are we going to see the star players coming alive? Maybe even one of them, maybe two. I don't know. I feel like that's rarer than seeing, you know, a black hole. Actually seeing two NIP players come alive.
A little bit of a problem is also the spots, right? I mean, you have a guy like Config Snowflake who's playing hot, or the A bombs at Rez is on ramp, the Campus is just. You have like Brawl and Config and Rez playing pretty static positions. Maybe Brawl and the only one not so much. So I don't think that's natural to them to like sit and hold an angle. So that's
probably not.
Like it takes time to get used to it, or find a way to play it where you can like do something and move around, and we'll see how that works out for them against a team like FaZe Clan.
And on the flip side, a team like FaZe, who's been playing this map together with this lineup forever, like they're going to have those different plans. They're going to have those different contingencies. They're going to have those things they can switch into, and far more comfortable calling something just off intuition and trusting more in intuition that hasn't quite been set in stone yet for NIP.
Well, our opener from FaZe here in Cologne will be closed after this final map. We're going to be going down on the grounds of Nuke, but not before a quick break. When we're back, it's James and Hawker on the mics.
What is that reaction? Yeah, right.
This would be an ace clutch from Poland.
Oh my! Oh boy! FaZe Clan, the champions of ESL Pro League.
Poland's here. Oh my God! Yeah, are you gonna be kidding me? What a map! What a map!
The in-game leader, architect of every move and every win. The entry fragger, fearlessly leading from the front. The opper, the deadliest of them all. The support, the true difference between winning and losing. The lurker, everywhere and nowhere, patiently waiting to strike. It takes 5 champions to win. Which one are you?
All right, we're here with Twist. What we're gonna do here, this is gonna be fun. We're gonna go through top 15 plays that we've picked out of your career. Clutches, highlight moments, and all the fun stuff. And we're gonna just kind of walk through them, do some nostalgia stuff, and then we're gonna rank them 1 through 10. We're gonna pick the top 10 of them.
Okay.
All right, let's fire up the first clip.
A lot of pressure is on you now. The fate of FaZe resides on Twist.
All right, one thing I know that is funny to me about this clip is you have always, when I was there with Liquid with you for the brief time, you wanted to pick up the op a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I always felt like I had the mechanics to be like a good opper.
Yeah.
The op role is very special in the game because the vision that you have to have as an opper is completely different than you would have as a rifler.
Yeah.
And
well, this ain't standard opping either. This is like...
No, this isn't standard opping. This clip is... I messed up in this clip because I told Olaf I was gonna double peek tunnel with him. I didn't want to throw a molly in tunnel, but I threw a molly. And then I didn't want to peek because it would create a one-way for the T. And then Olaf wide swung plat and died. And I kind of just felt like, I have to close down the site right now, or this is a big throw.
Well, when you get the ace and even I think you make up for the mistake. I think that's one of the mistakes Olaf can forgive you for really quickly. Let's just say, I mean, right out of the gates, are you going to put that in your top 10 somewhere?
No, I wouldn't be top 10 for.
You don't think that? Okay.
Has decided he's willing to risk it all on this deep angle, and it's given that first kill over. Might just be the threat. They come in with a few kills apiece. Twist takes matters into his own hands, and suddenly.
What do you think about this one?
Well, once again, we lost the game, but I guess it's from the same series, man. Both these clips. I mean, I think this could be an important round. I remember this game went to, I think, 3 or 4 OTs, so there's not many rounds in OTs, so to secure 1 round just by acing, it's important, I think, for the overall game. But we lost, so I don't know. I mean, maybe it would be number 10 on if I had to pick.
Easily as he hopes. Twist even gets one at range. Down to just 2. How does Twist find the second Zywoo?
This one's going to be in the top 10.
This is a straight 1-2,
yeah, of course.
But Alex is he bangs him out somehow. A third. And he's looking for it all the ways. RPK's gonna try and swing around the backside. Twist switches back to the Deagle instead, checks both close positions.
At what point did you know you win this clutch? You know how like you get that feeling a little bit?
Probably when I got into this situation, got to the corner. It's just a massive off angle. It's a very deep corner to clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the last angles you're clearing when you're
and also like you kind of instill fear into your opponents when you 1D like two players. It was a 1v4 and now you're in a 1v1 and you're kind of like, well, you already have the feeling in your mind probably that you blame your teammates for even being in this situation. Of course, it would be, it's hard to rank it in the top 10 already without seeing the other clips, but of course.
Yeah, we got plenty more coming. We just throw it in there. If you're gonna put it in there, we'll just, we'll throw it 5,
okay,
and then we'll shuffle it around.
In the past, and this might be another one. Keto and Lithium running in, but somehow Twist with a quad kill, and it's all on that man Searson. First shot lands.
Talk to me, baby.
It wasn't a charity event. I don't. This game is the borders, man. It's not top. It's not even top 15 for me. Like, yeah, not even top 15 for me.
Two maps down, 1 to go. NIP and FaZe split the first 2 maps, but FaZe's win was just a tad more convincing. And now we go to Nuke, a map that historically has been very good for FaZe. NIP no slouches on this map themselves though, so it's the best chance to have another close map between these two. FaZe have to be favorites, but NIP showed on that first map they can definitely take it to FaZe here.
They've shown on this series they can win all the pistols as well. They counted more in the first and the second. See if FaZe can break the curse on Nuke. They split the maps, but NIP got their head split on Overpass. See if that's in the back of their reconstructed minds for this third one. Hopefully for them everything is reset. No shocker that FaZe were strong. But they still need to beat them now. We're into that decider. Headtrick will be the raid boss, P250 man. Rops has got some targets. Rops! Okay then. Maybe there's a chance for a pistol after all. 3 shots, 3 bodies on the floor. Patiently looking for a 4th one is Robs, but Hampus will try to regain that bomb. Pretty hard task though, separated from his teammate as Carrigan drops res by the ramp. A promising start indeed from Rops and FaZe Clan. Hampus has got 1 minute to try and isolate these fights. He sees Brokey's shoulder. And that's the pistol then taken. Great plays from Rops, focused and ready for Nuke.
All it took for FaZe to win their first pistol round of IEM Cologne was Rops.
Pop, pop, sit down.
Pop off. The jumping shot's so nice. I mean, look, no one even turns. That's how quick he was. No one can even react. No one can even turn, and look at who has just slayed them. Oh, if we get Rops continuing at this level, I am a very excited man on this map. And his Glocks for NIP, so Rain will try and farm.
Satisfying one-taps from Rops. Full auto for his teammates though. Brokey stealing the kills. Fast eco round is a good eco round, and here's a prompt one for you. 2-0 FaZe.
Get that one out of that. Get into the real gun rounds. That's what NIP was saving for. They will have AKs. Just a little shy of being able to afford that all. Meanwhile for FaZe, you can expect them to keep some of those weak weapons that they had in the previous round. Carrigan and Twist will hold on to the MP9s for this one. And we heard the Des point out that Hampus in the past has loved a lot of those fast A plays, trying to brawl on Nuke. Let's see what NIP go for initially in this one. It is Hampus going aggressive, but he's on yard, looking to follow up these smokes, and he should beat that molly down secret. That's good map control for NIP. You see Rops is just now arriving. Hampus's molly will keep him out though, so this is a good start for NIP here, and Rops took loads of damage there from the molly.
Yeah, that's made very expensive. Denied information as well. Wonder what the urgency is like for FaZe. Rain taking up the rear angle. Minute 10 on the clock. NIP threatening a B play. There are grenades lined up for the A bomb site, it looks like. Indeed, they will be looking to wrap from main as well. Carrigan holding his ground for the time being, though. Again, he'll be the nuisance, he'll be the distraction. Rain looking to clean up. There are flashbangs, though. Carrigan can't get it done this time. 3 on 4. Still advantages for FaZe. They've got Heaven, they've got the man advantage. Diffuse kit in the hands of Twist. That lurk smoke up top. Things slow down once again. Still players outside. Brokey spotting them though. Not overcommitted our FaZe. Great range, great taps as well. Rain robs that one. Hetrick and Config. After all this map control they took, they don't have much to show for it. Bomb lost on the outside. Config waiting for teammates. That'll never come.
Oh, turns away. And Rain executes him in the back. Quad kill for Rain. Definitely exciting to see him show up as well. He can be a huge part of FaZe's defense, especially over towards Yard. Sometimes a bit of a specialist on this map is Rain. We remember the Major, where he was MVP and he was dominant on this CT side of Nuke. FaZe reigning IEM Cologne champions. 2022 was a great year for them. They want to prove they can still win trophies in 2023. They were able to win Pro League back in March, but they've not been as dominant of a team. They've always been there or thereabouts, but haven't won as many trophies as they would want this year. Maybe Cologne could be the turning point for them. Pistols out, Twist boosted, he has been cleared, and Brokey's not able to trade immediately. There could be some danger, but oh, the lineup from Brokey denies everything, and the P250 finishes the job.
These FaZe players are looking extremely sharp. They already were on the second map, but this is a dejecting way for NIP to start. Those taps from Rops, still in the back of my mind. You've got to wonder about NIP lining up perfectly for Brokey. Take a ticket, gents. He's got plenty to deliver. He's happy with that one. It's great encouragement, great confidence boost for the squad. Not that they needed it. They are FaZe Clan after all. 4-0. Starting very well here on Nuke. Perfect start to a CT side, especially in a deciding map. No harm done. Somehow everybody's generally unscathed from that. Brokey's on 99. 500 HP NIP somehow. Scary stuff.
He'll still be a little disappointed. That's a shot he knows he should have hit. But as you said, no harm for a FaZe.
Ouch.
Ooh, nice nade damage. NIP there. A couple of players chunked down just above half health. Meanwhile, Rop's getting active on ramp. There won't be anyone to meet him, but that will give them info that maybe this Yard play is not a fake. Maybe this is a real play. So they try to spam. The timing isn't quite right, but that means Carrigan will rotate down to B. But Brokey's already down there as well. They've got two CTs ready on that lower site.
What is the ultimate play, though, for NIP? Brolan bouncing off the ceiling to clear the angle. Carrigan will see two on the def cam. There are three in tow, though, and Rops is getting active. 3-on-3, 36 seconds left. Brokey trying to reset the situation. Orb downstairs.
Up the vents?
Seems like it will be. They kept the options open, but Twist is still lurking. Ever dangerous Twist. Everybody's ever dangerous on this FaZe roster. 20 seconds. Just wrapping the site, spotting them, and Hetrick is in trouble. 20 HP, down he goes. 5-0 for FaZe Clan.
Just perfect positioning from Twists. NIP thought there is no way he could have snuck around the silo. They started fumbling around. They thought they had a free bomb plant. They thought they had completely outmaneuvered FaZe, but Twists is the man who had outmaneuvered them. Nice to see a few words from Neo, but honestly, I don't know if they're needed right now. FaZe 5-0 up, looking so good.
Brokey's 9-0 up.
Yeah.
Having a great time on Nuke. What a fantastic start to a CT side of Nuke. Not brittle at all for FaZe Clan. Ninjas in Pyjamas will be on the pistols. 2 frags apiece, save for Hetrick, who's 0-0-5.
Got intense music, but not an intense game right now if FaZe keep this up. Maybe pace is the answer for NIP. Earlier at ramp, they were able to get something done. They're running through the flames, and Rops might just execute them. Line up for 3. Brokey arrives, doesn't land a shot. So that could open the door to a rotate down lower. But there is already a CT down there.
Oh, he saw that coming.
Oh, yeah.
He saw that coming for days. 1v3 for Rez, though. This is winnable. This is doable. Twist denies. Quick crouch peek from Twist. Brokery's finally been fragged, though. 6-0 for FaZe Clan. They are running away with this series, the way this is going on. How do Ninjas in Pyjamas turn things around? They've had map control, but still haven't been able to put FaZe down. And again, many of these rounds, 4 players surviving, 3 in the last one. FaZe Clan's money's not terrible. And you can often be that, when you're just trying to chip away that CT economy until you break it, but NIP have got to do more in that regard.
Ooh, one of those smokes has been denied, so NIP have to use a 4th smoke just to connect the wall. And FaZe might have realized there wasn't really much of a quick response from NIP there. And they also have Rops on a secondary sniper down secret. So I don't think those early smokes from NIP are really going to cause any response here from FaZe. 3 CTs on A, including that AWP of Brokey.
3 scopes as well with the AUG on Carrigan. Raised armor penetration. 2 mollies for NIP. They'll be hoping this execute is what they're looking for, but look at the defense that FaZe are posting up. The flashbangs will need to be perfect from NIP. They have a lot of them, but how many will be going into the A bomb site? Brokey is waiting. It's a standoff. Carrigan's got some info then. Brokey with a great flick. Stays alive for now, goes back for config, but denied. Bombs on the floor, 20 seconds. Rops 1v3, where is he? Coming in from the vent with an AWP. Hello, down to the 1v2 then. Oh, where's the trade fragger? Hasn't seen him, and Rez will get a free one. NIP are on the scoreboards. This is so nervous for them, though. It's definitely tense for NIP, my word. And there's more work for them to do because FaZe have the money to buy.
Yeah, pretty impressive round win for NIP, considering FaZe had all the info. Carrigan going down early definitely contributed to that. But then also, I think just Brokey not having the assistance from Twist on the site. He was hoping Twist would take a slightly more aggressive angle to keep him safe in hut. That was not the case. And Carrigan a little frustrated. The aggression didn't work out for him. So can NIP keep it up? That's the real question. Well, that's not the start they were looking for. And Ray just drops off in time to survive.
So key, staying alive, holding position. Fair amount of info as well. Does that compel NIP to show more presence outside? Can they with 1 smoke?
Do you really want to test Rops?
I mean, there's no good option.
True.
With FaZe on the CT side,
Very
to be
true.
honest. Oh, he spotted the barrel of the gun, but Rez comes in from his left-hand side, Rops. Quite the big headshot, wondering where the CT was, had to be somewhere. Great awareness from Rez. So they've got control of ramp. There's a minute on the clock. NIP aren't pressed for a fast round, but what is the play here? Again, despite that lack of util, config will roam outside anyway. Carrigan holding down 2 jobs. Looking for info, no one fires. Glass isn't broken. But now NIP know where one of these players is. Carrigan wins the first duel. There's many more where that came from, but Rez has only got 13 HP. This could prove awkward for NIP. Oh, another bell ring through the corner of the wall on the reload. He just sees config as well as he looks the other way. This is crazy. It's turning in FaZe's favor again. 4 on 2. Rez with the AWP, 13 HP, but that clock is ticking so far down. 10 seconds. Is there any way to get a bomb plant here? Rez looking towards the ramp. There are too many CTs alive, and they're all waiting for NIP.
Rez just put out with his misery. Dies before time. But man, FaZe 7-1 up. I love that awkward moment from Carrigan. He turns around, he sees that config's there. It's almost like when you accidentally walk into the wrong room and you're like, oh, sorry. Quickly turn around, quickly get out of there. and then decides, you know what, actually I will go back for that kill now that I've reloaded. Broky's AWPing, man. That battle AWPing style he's so good at. Medium to close range. Fast on the flicks. Sure, those NIP players weren't going anywhere, but still some lovely shots. And if NIP aren't careful, this could end up being a non-starter for them.
Not a single flash for NIP. 3 smokes. They will be completely reliant on these. Don't want to be playing Connect 4 with them this time. Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
They don't connect. And it might be more than 4 for Rain. So far, so good. Really hampered the push of NIP. Thwarted immediately on the outside. That's their util used. Now it's going to have to be dry peeks, fast shots. Carrigan stuck by CT vents now, showing the barrel of the gun. Quick peek from him. Not much to be done. Config, the can opener, 40A bomb site. This could break FaZe. They don't have the money. They can't afford to lose this round.
Oh, Rop's making noise. They should have heard this. He runs into the site, but head trick doesn't turn in time. And now this post plant could be awkward for NIP. If someone taps that bomb, they've got to move in. That's a fantastic shot from Config, though. And what can Broky do? He needs fights to come to him with the AWP. But there's no need for NIP to swing. He'll swing into Hampus. Clears the corner! It's almost 2 for 1! But Config has to come back, and Broky misses the second opportunity. That lineup was so close to getting both kills. Config must have absolutely been terrified for a second. But they hold on.
Just imagine if he gets both of those. Wow. Config, the can opener NIP needed, barely surviving that round. Through the wall, he has no idea. Config's like, what is happening? Terrifying situation for NIP, but they've finally broken FaZe. And now they have a chance to build. They have to deliver now.
Can't lose these. You cannot lose these against FaZe. You're not going to get many rounds like this. Hampus, very often the solo man on yard. But it means you don't know if he's got backup or if it's just him taking map control. We've been talking about how good the FaZe players have looked. For NIP, Config still showing up, but you want to see a little more from Headtrick, who's normally been consistent. How has Rain got away with that? A double dink on the USP.
Twist has got a CZ. He said it's not like it used to be, but in his hands, it could still be very powerful indeed. Moving into the heart. Headtrick's there, and down he goes. AWP collected. Which weapon does he opt for, though? He's scoped up Twist, and he will deliver. He's got such a good angle now. Down goes Config. NIP, their whole ship might sink mentally if they don't win this round. He's still trolling them with that CZ now. 1v3 for Brolan. He's got the bomb, 30 seconds. He is utterly surrounded. It's so awkward, though. None of them have Kevlar, but they've got great weapons. Twist and a CZ can never be counted out.
Woo! Yeah, 2 timeouts. Yeah, that's good idea, bro.
Yeah, that'll help, says Carrigan. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's so funny because we heard Twist also say in that pre-game segment, he also thinks he could be a decent AWPer if given the chance. And there's a glimpse of what he's capable of.
What did they start that round with?
Not much. Couple of pistols.
FaZe might just be way too strong, honestly. It's like final boss territory for NIP at Cologne. You can't lose a round like that. How do you stay focused on the task ahead? They worked so hard to get to that point, only to be just put back into the bin immediately.
That buy even has limitations because of it. 2 AKs. Is it a pacey round for NIP? That is the answer they want. Rez runs out early. Flashes look good. Rez has spotted a couple of players, but he hasn't killed any of them. Karrigan's still up above. How have they not dealt with that man? They haven't got a single kill out onto A, and it's all gone wrong. Rain's even getting kills through the smoke. Karrigan arrives from above. It is a brutal denial of everything that NIP wanted in that round.
Wow. Panic stations for NIP. They are denied with force by FaZe Clan.
I mean, to be fair to Karrigan, the timeout didn't help them. He wasn't wrong.
Wow. That was a strong defense. A very strong defense of the A-bomb site. Twist just saw enough to raise the alarm while eating the flashbangs, delivering the multi-frags. The perfectly placed grenade followed up by Karrigan on the hut roof. Relentless, merciless FaZe Clan in the group stage. This is a warning for everybody bearing witness to this slaughter.
Okay.
It's a nice shot from Config, but a very small highlight in a half dominated by FaZe so far.
Config's shown us glimpses, but here comes Brokey, plucking the second man out of the air.
That's sublime right there.
Oh, does he get this one on the right? Oh, of course he does. Why do I even question it? 17 kills for Brokey. This is only the 12th round. Don't do it, Brokey. Come on now. Come on now. I mean, this is what we want to see from FaZe, though. We want to see FaZe in championship form. We want to see their players on point.
Oh, man.
That's so annoying.
This is just griefing. This is griefing.
Rops actually took full damage. Oh, he actually checks his back. Rez is sitting there like, are you kidding me? Rops. Somehow always aware. Not quite the ace for Brokey. Rops steals the last, but I don't think FaZe care at this point. I think they want this over and done with as soon as possible.
Round 12, and it feels like a defeat already. Brokey having a great time outside. Headsets are off, so we'll be careful, but man, firing on all cylinders are FaZe Clan. Not too shabby an opening for Config, but have a look at these kills from Brokey. Oh, it's clean as a brand new bar of soap.
I would not have flicked up to get that kill. I'd have waited for Config to drop further, but I guess I'm not Brokey.
He is clean, he is perfect. 18-4-3 is Brokey. He is smurfing at the biggest stage on the calendar. 10-2 for FaZe Clan. I don't know how you mentally break through a barrier with the roster of FaZe Clan against you. It's a very tall order, seemingly insurmountable in this half.
This feels like when the TV license people show up to your door. You got a license for that TV? No. Slam the door in their face. NIP have had no chance here. By the way, for people confused, that is genuinely a thing in the UK. Hence the license memes. I mean, that's not what you want to see.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not feel like this? How could your body language not be like this? This is one of the most oppressive halves I have seen in a while. FaZe Clan just shutting everything down. Brutality on the server. I honestly think that's a great way to describe what we're witnessing. Style points for Brokey, though. Give that man a start. Glittery one. Not done yet, though. It's been a horrible half so far, and it might just end horribly. There might be no more rounds in this half for NIP, but even so, there's always a fighting chance. Let's see if they can get to 5. Broke the economy and then got deleted by Twist on the A-bomb site earlier on. 5 AKs are out, the utility is here as well. Can it be different this time?
Utility exchange, Twist steps into the fray, Brokey backing him up. 2 kills, and we're barely 15 seconds into the round.
All right then, Rez is still here. There's still a chance. That psychological warfare, for Twist to peek Squeaky like that, that's an outrageous play, an outrageous risk. But FaZe simply have the talent. No quarter given.
Decent map control for NIP. They have ramp, but what do they want to do with it? FaZe currently with only 1 player down on B. And Robs isn't looking towards the site itself, so this is maybe the one weak spot in FaZe's setup right now. That smoke will start to give the game away, but NIP have got a reasonably good chance at getting this bomb down. Problem is, FaZe will now start to close in on them. They've got to get a move on.
T's have control of control. It's a very strong angle for Rez, but Robs will try to find a way. Carrigan playing off of the distraction, and the oppression continues. Rez in a 1 versus 3. Oh, now down to the 1v1. Rain forcing him away. He's got a kit, Rain. Not sticking it though. Rez could come from the window, could come from the doors. Rain needs to touch the bomb again, still refusing. Going wide, great tap from Rez though. A 4K in a round, and surely that will encourage the team.
Yeah, that's what they needed. Something to get excited about, something to make them believe. And we know Rez is capable of flashy plays like that. That'll help them try and get back into the game mentally, because those were some brilliant shots. And that's especially after the round started so badly. You lose 2 players, you think you're done for. But Rez with a bit of style at the end. Takes balls to go for the 1-tap.
Two more rounds to claim in this half. No one gone early. Util is here. Where are NIP headed? Rain is always a problem outside. There's a traffic jam in secret. Sound cues to be heard then by Rain. What of the rotation though?
I think Rops will finally go down to B. The lobby aggression could work for FaZe though. You lose one area of the map, you take somewhere else back.
So silent, RNIP. FaZe continues to prod that hut position. Rez is lurking in a common spot. Rops on the bomb site, support on the way now with that AWP. Oh, that's a rare miss from him. Twist lost in the meantime. Rez's lurks working out on head trick. Growing with power at NIP. 5 on 3. What did FaZe Clan do here? Money won't be ideal for the last round. Seems they'll be falling back, so NIP giving themselves a fighting chance. It's been such a rough half for them. But the job's not done yet for FaZe Clan.
Yeah, it was interesting for FaZe there, because yes, you hear those steps down at Secret, you hear those steps through yard down lower, but it's only really one player making any noise. And we know that Hampus has been going down there in a lot of the rounds after the smokes are thrown. I was thinking maybe once Hampus started to like run around the corner, for example, maybe you could figure out that step is him trying to bait for a trade frag, but it's still hard to know exactly whether it's that B-sided play. And they would have hoped that the AWP on the rotate could have just landed that first shot. Also, credit to Headtrick, because he was so ready for Rops' angle. It is a fairly common position on top silo, but the way that door went open and he instantly had his crosshair in the right place for the headshot was brilliant. Clearly wise to Rops' tricks. And so a 4th round for NIP. They'd love a 5th to close the half. Can they find it? Yard play looking likely again. Rain getting a little more active this time. Oh, and that's the kill on the cross.
Ever a nuisance outside. Rainer's come to talk to you about your car insurance.
Oh, it's going to fade.
Oh! They go back, they're lining up for him as well. 3 remain for NIP. How many were spotted outside? Oh, Rops' angle is going to be completely devastating for Ninjas. 4 rounds of 14. Could have been much worse for them. I don't think it gets much better though, unless Rez has a miracle round. 1 versus 4, deciding map of this series. It's going to be a long road to recovery once we get to that second half. 11 rounds for FaZe, a monstrous half for them. Brokey 20 for 4. See if it continues after the break.
It in. He could sneak through right now, but the Orb's coming to challenge, and Akor's found a second, looking for the 3rd kill. Repeak is danger now, as he doesn't own this angle anymore. 9-10 holds for ticket swing, and Akor crosses in. He's going to escape, look elsewhere. A is plentiful with defenders, and so Mongols go back to B.
I like how decisively Techno's moved here, right?
Yeah.
Very quickly changing his routing from window to wrapping up through short. He will clear out Isaac over in the corner here on B, opening up the route to the plant. Akor's going to make it around, and that was the opportunity, but the bomb gets in. Techno crossing is silenced, and now 9-10's Orb's got to do it alone, but he's bested Akor in the head-to-head. Any more from the AWP? Just 1 man left to beat, coming from the market side as well. And Bolt is deleted. An electric round from 9-10. The Mongols up on a 7. Unrelenting on this T side, and from the same spot that the Butcher did it back in Katowice. 9-10 now is his own legacy here on Mirage.
Oh,
a beautifully played clutch.
Yeah, they're putting Gamer Legion on the bench right now. That's unbelievable. The blind shot as well, it couldn't have been better. He saw a leg on a jiggle. He knew exactly how high to aim to not get a leg shot off there. And Volt just peeks right into the Orb. That's a sick clutch. These new players of Mongols have been the most exciting part here. Mizzino and 9-10, barely any matches played domestically, let alone internationally on their EU LAN debut. Finding form like this. Keep in mind, folks, the Mongols are the 2nd youngest team at Cologne, only preceded by Maus with an average of 1 year younger. These guys sit at 20.5 across the roster. That's a very young squad. What were you doing when you were 16? Beating up on major finalists? I don't think so. Good deed for Akor. He's been the one player we can rely on to any degree here in this map.
He's got the ball rolling in this one. But the Mongols never seem like super pressured, even when they lose a man, right? Like, they're not scrambling around the map to move into some A-side set piece. They still have their idea here, and they want to commit.
Stages do not get bigger than this.
Seven-round lead for FaZe Clan on the final map of this series. Nuke is here, and my word, Brokey was all over that half. 20 frags and only 4 deaths. NIP were given absolutely nothing apart from grief on from Carrigan between rounds. But they take 4 rounds into the second half, and with that, they have a chance. A Smither, a Cinder maybe, to make a fire with. They've been good on the pistol rounds for this series. This one is the most urgent of them all.
P250 in the hands of Twists. Know how good he can be in pistol rounds. Molly has tickled Rez, who was on top hut. He's had to concede position. Okay then, Twists robotic on that flick up to heaven. They'll cross down to lower. Config's here to meet them. Meanwhile, Rob's still lurking up top. He's going to deny the aggression.
Rops is just here to punish people. Hampus has the bomb for now, but can he hold it for long? Not really. The T's will swarm. Remaining CTs are here as well. Config doing what he can, but he's lost position now because up the stairs they go. Well, the ladder. 3v2. Config making his way up to get slapped down by Rain. Brolan with 2 pistols, 3 people to shoot. Not going to be an easy one. Where is everyone? He wanders. Doesn't matter now. FaZe take the pistols when they really need them. Keep NIP's heads below water. Now the struggle is oh so more urgent. 4-12 for NIP. Choices being taken away. They've got to go for a force pipe.
See, Twist was already making sure he pre-aimed heaven. Figured that if there was a player watching the cross, he'd probably be watching that close angle towards Secret. And now that FaZe have won both pistols, they've put some real daylight between them and NIP. CT still decide to force. Head trick with that scout. Can't really do a great deal to deny this cross. Maybe a pot shot could have been attempted, but decides to let them go. So Hampus is called to battle. Oh, look at Carrigan jumping around the corner, making sure that D can't land the immediate headshot. And FaZe look pretty all in on this B-bomb site right now.
Hampus doing what he can. Brolan trying to follow up, but look at all the T's coming to peek him together. Broky's like, nope. I think I'll keep this Galil. What do NIP do with what they have left? Loser of this series will be playing Astralis in the lower bracket. Winner of this series will go on to play G2. FaZe moving to 13 very shortly then. Is there any stopping this train?
Doesn't look likely right now. Would love to get that FaZe G2 matchup. Have seen that be a great game in the past. Back at Katowice, those guys played in the groups. But I think this time FaZe would be favorites if they make it to that winners matchup, which is looking more and more likely with each round played. Nice work from Carrigan. Plop that smoke down. Mac 10 cleans up a couple of kills. And Rop's always where you least expect him. Always going to be away from the rest of the team. Remember, the previous round was forced from NIP, so this one has to be minimal investment.
The CT side will need to be goated for NIP. Feels like such a low percentage now. Broky gets his bell rung as well. You can spray through the corner of that box. It's a very common spray in early iterations of Counter-Strike. Don't see it too often these days. Into the bomb site they go. Not a whole lot NIP can do about this, really. 4-14, most likely. It's not 14 rounds, but 1 round 14 times. Bite size. You've got to focus on the round in front of you and ignore the overall deficit. Time to save the Kevlar and the AK. NIP will need every tool afforded to them. for the rounds to come. Because FaZe only need 2. NIP need 12.
Let's twist up too. Block it right in. I mean, this is the sort of form you want to see from FaZe. You want to see them at an individual level where you feel as though they could be making it deep in this event. Rob's having a giggle. Here is the buy from NIP. Headtrick has got the AWP out. Only 6 kills for him. We were praising his consistency earlier. Maybe didn't get too many chances with the AWP on that T side, but now on CT, much room for error. Speaking of error, twists, a little movement fail, but it's all good. He's up there now. He's just proven he can do it, you know?
NIP must deliver.
Okay. Config heard you.
More work to be done, though. The remainder FaZe clan will still be scary. 2 Galils on the 4 players. A silent game on Nuke. Noise cut early by FaZe. There's a lot of util in the hands of these T players. Karrigan will be offering them something soon, it seems. Molly goes in. Brolano thinks twice about the counter utility. Non-believers, perhaps. What do NIP understand FaZe to be doing, though? Into the A-bomb site, there you go. Main is wide open. Config is delivering almost all of the frags. What an overperformance from him. Exactly what NIP needed. 4K in the round. 5 for NIP.
Config's one of the few players who has looked alive on this map for NIP. Has had a couple of impressive moments. That spray down was ridiculous, though.
He's working hard.
Ooh. Was in the Matrix for a second there. Oh, look at that transfer. Fantastic work from Config. I think I could read his lips there.
Yep.
Just about. Wow, Headtrick now taking initiative. Maybe that's boosted some of the mood of the other NIP players. Yard smokes are down. Hampus trying to deny, but Rain will get across safely. Headtrick has already rotated down to B, so he's ahead of the game if the drop were to come through.
Fighting tooth and nail, RNIP. Oh, that's a big frag based on what we saw last round. Config, the first one to drop. Karrigan spots Hampus in CT. He'll be isolated for a while. How much will they pursue him, though? One minute on the clock for FaZe Clan. Karrigan and Rops both taking damage. Rain with... Oh, that's a brutal timing. He had an off angle for a moment. But Headtrick has announced his position. Heading towards that 40-second mark. Urgency starts to rise. What is the play now? Hampus is or was stuck in CT as far as FaZe Clan are concerned. Headtrick's lurking downstairs. How do you solve this puzzle? Hampus has managed to make it back as well. He's back in the mix, back in the game. Oh, Reyes, he had to deliver on that one. Karrigan was low. Doesn't hit the head, though. 20 seconds remain. Hampus on the A-bomb site, doing what he can. Bomb's been dropped. Rops is on a 1v1 now.
Took the AWP.
10 seconds to plant this bomb. 12 HP and an AWP. Oh, going for the flick, but Headtrick delivers. NIP are still in the fight. They keep FaZe Clan off of that match point.
Yeah, you can see Rops trying to take the AWP there. You can understand he's low on health, so he thinks he needs a quick AWP shot to have a chance in the one-on-one. That kill from Headtrick, very important. And comes in with the clutch as well. Nice to see a bit of impact from Headtrick. See if he can now grow into this CT side. was a little worried for NIP there. Once they lost Rez, I thought that A site was too brittle because NIP had players focused towards Yard. They just about got enough of a rotate to get some good trades. And now FaZe are on pistols in this one. Have still invested into utility, so they can still pose a threat on this burst towards the A-bomb site.
Seen plenty of these rounds won. One Tech-9 could be enough. Robs makes the entry. Config's running low on bullets, getting blocked as well, but Headtrick is here to start the cleanup. Carrigan down to 1 HP. Carrigan and Brokey make it just Brokey now, perhaps a question of damage. Bronan looking around the back. Just the one loss for NIP. Starting to build something, but as they defuse this bomb, they only reach half the score of FaZe Clan.
Yeah, not bad for NIP, not many casualties, but at the same time, FaZe won't mind getting the bomb plant. This was incredible from Headtrick. First shot flying up the vent, not easy to do with a P250, but that made the rest of the round so much easier. The fact that he was able to fly up like that. But the extra $800 across the board means FaZe have a perfect buy, at least in terms of AKs and utility. Ooh, Headtrick not ready for Ops to be there so soon.
That could be fatal timing for NIP. Very strong start for FaZe, very strong. Rops is never standing still, always a little jiggle. Someone's advancing on his position. Wants to give them a chance to reveal based on the elbow, but look how he's just gone into the A-bomb site. Silently emerging, NIP are suddenly in a world of trouble on Nuke, even more so than before. They have no idea how compromised they are. Maybe they're starting to learn. What do they do now? What are their choices? Gonna force their way back into the A-bomb site, it looks like, but Rain's coming in round the back. And these players need to run distraction in the meantime. They are lining up for Rain! Great transfer! Absolutely dismantling the NIP. Hampus is left with no choice to make.
No way in.
They just walked in. They had the keys.
So good from Rain. Not easy to get all those kills, even if they're not looking at you. You've got to be quick to adjust. Set up for success, and Rain delivers. 15 for FaZe. One away from winning their opening match of the group stages here at IEM Cologne 2023. That was a shame for Headtrick. Molly out the wrong time, and then Rain set up beautifully.
Transfer was fast. NIP will have a buy, but the margin for error has completely disappeared. Unfortunate timing in that last round. This could now be the last round. Config trying to do what he can, looking for that transfer, but Twist will just about best him. 4-on-4. And again, FaZe Clan will get that early frag, but not feel the urgency to rush anything.
Yeah, 1-for-1 trade is something FaZe will be happy with. Hampus spammed through. Back to a 3-on-3 because Brolan has got a kill elsewhere. But look at Brokey's position. Sneaking forward. Brolan wasn't ready for it. And now FaZe have the man advantage. Headtrick searching for some way back. Rain was spotted on Yard previously. Headtrick looking for the angle. That's a quick adjustment to bring it back to even numbers. But now FaZe will look to capitalize. They'll look to come down to B instead. They know there can only be one CT here. It's Rez in a sneaky position. The molly forces him up, but they may overlook this angle now. Smoke down to try and get the bomb planted. Rez tries to find the freebie, but can't hit the shot on Brokey. And Twist hits the headshot back. Headtrick has it all to do.
They are super squishy, but he's got to be fast. They're so low, but Twist has all the angles. A masterclass from FaZe, showing how strong they can be. They've come into this one hot. They've got eyes on defending their title.
First game down, and FaZe looking good here to start IEM Cologne 2023. For NIP, they made it through the play-in. They still have more chances, but for FaZe, the form of their individuals was unbelievable there. Brokey, Rain, Rops, all up there at 23, 22, 21 kills each. All of them delivering. And just the way they were getting those kills, the way those frags were coming in looked fantastic. This is a team that looks like they could make a really deep run here in Cologne.
Great effort from Brokey, 23 for 8. I don't even think that was maximum Brokey though, as good as that was. I think he's got a level that can come later on, should it be required, as they continue in Cologne. Fantastic performance from FaZe Clan. Over to the sideline.
Thank you very much. Right here in the booth with Twist. Go ahead, Rain. You can come through. Oh, it is actually. That's fine. Like, okay. So, Twist, congratulations. Your first win in Cologne. That's a good start. After Mirage, talk to me about the recovery, because you look like a completely different team.
Yeah, Mirage, I think we just discussed that we played like scared somehow. Like T-side just felt off compared to how we practice. And yeah, after that, we just played like we practice on Overpass and Nuke.
The fact that Neo is behind you guys now, and you had the first huddle after a lost game, and that you recovered so well, does that bode well for the future here in Cologne?
Yeah, I think Philip is just a very calm person. It's very natural in the way he speaks to people. Obviously, he was a leader in his past team, so he understands how it is to make players feel comfortable. So I think he's just, you know, doing his best and is a great addition so far.
How much fun are you having with the smart glass and the fact that you can see people? I know in the beginning it was calmer, but it heated up a little bit.
I just don't really care that people are there. Like, I don't know, people can see Wave and they're not in my... I sit so close to my monitor, I'm not going to see them anywhere. So for me, it doesn't matter.
For you, it doesn't change. Next up, you have G2. If you beat them, you're straight in the Lanxess. Any words about that matchup?
Should be fun. We played them at Blast. It seems like they've improved. They play pretty good against Astralis here. Yeah, just looking forward to the rematch.
Fantastic. We are too. Congratulations, and over to the desk.
Thank you very much, Shox. Yeah, Twist seeming unfazed in that one, but what a recovery after such a narrow loss on that first map of Mirage. Completely bouncing back from FaZe, and yeah, aptly said they'll be facing G2 in the next matchup. Very excited for that.
Yeah, that's going to be fire. I mean, two very similar teams in how they approach the game. A lot of great individuals on both lineups, and usually we get some fiery matchups, but in this particular game, yeah, I mean, an amazing recovery by FaZe. I think it was just sort of getting into the swing of things. And on Nuke, I mean, we saw, unfortunately for NIP, when they don't get that good start, when they have to play from behind, it's just really, really difficult for them at the moment.
I think more than anything, it's just like, this is why sometimes it's so hard to nail down what we were supposed to think of NIP as a team, because it's like, first map, cool, that looked good, head trick was going off, defense looks solid, config delivery, and then the next two maps were just like, there's nothing positive to take from them.
Across all three maps, their T-side was poor.
Yeah.
Like, that's something you can take away from this game.
I bet positive, but yeah. But yeah.
So, like, no, but I think also you could see in a way of, it's not like they were unlucky in some rounds or that. It's just a little bit too slow sometimes, too easy to read, too telegraphed what they were doing. And you could see how FaZe's players were always in a good position. Either there's a flank coming in, or players are, you know, ready for whatever it is NIP is doing. They didn't get a lot of breathing room in those executes. You think, oh, we traded well, we traded the rotator too. There's a third guy here, like, you know, and he gets one more kill and then the round becomes very difficult.
And even in the rounds that NIP did win on this particular map, FaZe answered back basically straight away, right? I'm thinking around number 10.
Yeah, I think this was really a way for NIP to get some breathing room, right? Like, this is just off the back of Config having a really good round with the AK, getting a bunch of kills. So see here, Campus throws a shallow molly, which lets Rain kill him. That prompts them to speed up their execute towards A. They're going through door with the majority of players. Twist, after Ops dies, like, just goes for the hot push, gets a kill on hat-trick, picks up the op, right? And here, he just has an amazing round, gets a couple of kills. I think actually this felt very good for him, because in the previous round where Config did have a sequence of his own, Twist a little bit, he had them, right? He whiffed a little bit on Config, and sort of that could have turned around, so he found redemption just one round later. And for NIP, you could see the money right after losing this round. It's back to another eco, and this is where really you could tell, like, this game is pretty much done for them.
Yeah, and also just like, I mean, even if you go back to Mirage, the CT run that FaZe went on started with Twist saving a hero AK from the previous round and getting getting like a triple kill at ramp. They just have so much impact that goes so deep. Overpass was like Rops carrying it through the stretch of it. Nuke started with Brokey having that monster opening half with the AWP, and then it was like, okay, Rops and Rain now in the second half are sliding up the scoreboard. Just a hard team to put down, and then NIP didn't have it today.
Who would you put as then the MVP from FaZe on this particular series?
In the series?
Yeah.
I would put Rops, just because of his performance on Overpass and then on Nuke after that, and even Mirage, he was fine as well. But I think Rops did a lot of work of getting this team going and keeping them in it when everyone else seemed to be a little bit slower. But on maps 2 and 3, it was never really too much of an issue.
Echoing that same sentiment, Yanko?
Yeah, Rob stood out, let's say, a little bit, but everyone had their moments. Brokey too, Twist. Rain was really good on Nuke outside. He was winning a lot of those fights, getting a lot of good information. So I think just...
Kerrigan, great calling. Everyone.
It's true.
Neo great posturing behind them. So, yeah, I mean, they were just... It's a massive difference between the two teams at the moment, and FaZe just took care of business.
Yeah, FaZe taking care of business on their first debut here at IEM Cologne 2023. But we've also had some action going down on the B stream simultaneously. So, Banks, what has been going on there?
Well, guys, over on the B stream, it's getting a bit wild. I'm not sure how the Mongols have managed to do this, but they picked into Mirage, and the next map's going to be Inferno, which Gamer Legion picked. Gamer Legion not learning from past mistakes of other teams on this. And Mongols are about to win the first map. It was like 15-3 before I started talking to you guys. Dominance from start to finish from the Mongols. They look like they're a much better team. And, well, we might be saying goodbye to Gamer Legion unless they can quickly turn things around. I don't have much hope for them, though, Freya. Let's see how it goes.
Thank you very much, Banks. Yeah, I'm just looking at the live score right now. 15-3 to the Mongols. Not really much posted up by Gamer Legion. I think, we touched upon it, Yanko. They were one of the teams that was absolutely molded coming out of Paris Major. Obviously had some really great showing there, but then great players kind of got stripped from the team, right?
Yeah, and the new additions feel a little bit, like
underwhelming.
It's a team in turmoil.
You would think that potentially, for maybe even some of the transfer fees, like they would have a budget maybe to get some names that you could still be in contention. Because listen, unfortunately, a team or an org like Gamer Legion, like the credit that they've gotten, the points that they've gotten from the Paris Major, that's going to run out soon, right? And if you go out here, lose 2 games, like when's your next opportunity going to arise? So it's going to be tricky. That's just the position in which they're in. But, maybe, Freya, they can still bounce back. They're still not out of it yet.
On the flip side, though, Mongols impressing here. Obviously, last night, almost taking down Heroic. They've, got a chance to make it a bit deeper.
You got their jackets, right, Jason?
I do have a Mongols jacket. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, it's a nice one. It's an older one, but it still works. It's beautiful.
You were the OG Mongols fan.
The original. Yeah, no, they're...
Jason Khan.
Yeah, they're so much fun to watch play. And individually, you could just see that's a team that's geared up to just tear apart teams like Gamer Legion that have no idea what's going on.
Moving on, let's look at the Group A bracket. Yanko, I think you're done here for the day. Jason, do you want to walk us through this one? We get to see ENCE making it through to the Group A upper bracket final.
Damn right we do.
Making it through to the playoffs.
That's great to see, especially because Saw mentioned right after they won Dallas, it felt like their season was cut a little bit short. They didn't have anything after that, and they were a little bit frustrated probably that they couldn't build upon it, but a chance here after that narrow victory over 9, handling business against Fnatic. And then obviously if Fnatic gets tossed down to the loser bracket, Mongols would be a really, really tough matchup for them. Cloud9 moving on. And that's going to be an interesting run for them.
I'm loving, Snappy's just MO of basically saying, like, fuck you to anybody who's not picked them up as a partner team.
Yeah,
he's just having to prove that. I absolutely love that. And
no shame on the Twitters anymore.
Yeah, man. Unleash the beast that is Snappy. Group B, we can see, obviously, NIP falling down to face Astralis. Where are you standing on that one? I feel like I'm siding a bit more with the Danes. I feel like they've been a bit more consistent and a bit more predictable.
One lesson I learned across my career in broadcasting is not to go against Device that often, and
it's a good
I don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think I'm going to do it here. I'm going to take Device and Astralis to take that one.
Any final thoughts, Yanko, or was that the bombshell you wanted to go out on?
Yeah, yes. Jason Khan, that was the high point of the day.
Yeah, let's
it all
move
warmed
on.
up for that.
We've had a long day, so I think it's time for Trace and Space to be taking over, but not before a quick break. When we are back, the final game of the day, it's Heroic versus Monty.
What is that reaction? Yeah, right.
This would be an ace clutch from Poland.
Oh my! Oh boy! FaZe FaZe Clan, the champions of ESL Pro League.
Poland's here. Oh my god! Are you gonna be kidding me? What a map! What a map!
The in-game leader, architect of every move and every win. The entry fragger, fearlessly leading from the front. The opper, the deadliest of them all. The support, the true difference between winning and losing. The lurker, everywhere and nowhere, patiently waiting to strike. It takes 5 champions to win. Which one are you?
Taking the Danish is a downgrade anyway.
Ah, come on. how many majors did the French win?
Rostermania in the off-season was mental. I'm going to be talking about it with Ents right here, right now. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me here today. And I'm sure you've got some opinions, so we're going to grade them. We got Ace, King, Queen, Jack, and Joker. Monty, with the addition of Bro. Now, they lost Boros.
Well, I'll just give it a King, just mainly due to the fact that it was out of their control. Because
okay, the Boros
it was kind of like when we lost Spinks. Like, what can you really do? Like, you lose your most hyped player, but it's out of your control. And I think they found a guy who seems to be a good replacement. They qualified now into the main Cologne tournament. So I would say that they found a fit, and that's all that matters.
Okay.
I mean, they qualified for Cologne now.
Yeah.
They surprised a little.
Okay,
So,
okay.
I think he fits pretty good
Yeah.
into the team. He is also FPLC guy, so
Yeah.
they know how to play this year.
Jack, for you?
I've chosen Joker. Yeah, I don't know what to really
I mean,
say about them.
I was very excited to see Boris play, and he did headshot us pretty hard a few times when we played them. So yeah, it's probably more about that I feel like it's not an upgrade in that sense.
The reason I put this card is because I think it's a downgrade. I think Boros is...
Taking the Danish is a downgrade anyway.
Ah, come on. how many majors did the French win?
Ooh, okay. 3?
Yeah, but...
It's
not
bad.
But it's not like us. It's not like us. I still have that card. Okay,
I'm just kidding, mate.
But I think it's a downgrade for me. I think Boros is...
Yeah, Boros was fantastic,
A
right?
really
and
strong
it's
player.
big boots to fill.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he's actually the same kind of player. I don't remind him as a full aggressive player, and I think that's why they had a lot of success, was because he was just going for entry kills all the time.
Hard. You've gone with the Queen. Anybody else want to jump into this one?
I did the same. I think that Monta's style is like this kind of unpredictable, kind of puggy style.
Okay.
And obviously, when you have a guy like Boros, who was like headshotting everyone, it's a really good player to have.
I'd give it a Queen. I still think they have a roster that can do damage, but they'll have to work on harder as a team because Boros is gone now.
What is your calling?
Boy, oh boy, do we have a matchup for you all this afternoon, this evening, wherever you might find yourself. Hell, it might even be morning. Nonetheless, it looks like Heroic going up against Monty in a best of 3 here, Intel Extreme Masters Cologne 2023. Alive and very much time to thrive if you're one of these teams. Of course, well, one team came in here as heroic, and no one ever would doubt that stature. The other team, a lot of question marks around Monty, and some of those get answered in the form of Brazilian beaters. I think that's pretty much what's happened here so far.
Brazilian beaters. I'm not sure where you're going with that one, Trace. I'll try to pick it up, though, where you left off. There were questions, obviously, with Monty coming into this event. We saw that they lost their heavy hitter in Boros. They brought on a guy, as they actually just removed 2 letters from his name, and brought on Bro from the Astral's talent lineup. And the funny thing is that none of us were even looking at that guy for a millisecond, saying he's the next one up.
That's the one right there, Bro.
Bro, feels like they've been flying under the radar, to be completely honest, you know. They came into this tournament, we didn't really have high expectations. We saw them do well in Paris at the major. We knew that they were better on land than they've been online. There's a lot of positive things you can attach towards this lineup, but I think people underestimate how much, you know, Boris was also causing trouble within this lineup. And I think Sam Dae-young has, you know, hinted at that in certain interviews, that it's nice to play with a player like Bro, who's not just running around and dying whenever he feels for it. And I think they brought a little bit more structure to this lineup. So I'm impressed by Monty, and they've done a good job so far beating the Brazilians.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I meant when I said Brazilian beaters.
I don't know. Oh, I see. Because
not anything crazy.
Imperial.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So nonetheless, yeah, this is what they've got. Online versus LAN, how does it stack up?
That's the thing, right? Because their online results, they suck. To be honest. I'm not going to lie. They're losing to teams I can't even mention by the logos, you know.
What is that logo?
I have no idea, and I don't really care, to be
I think that's
honest.
a gang sign,
I think
Trace.
it's a gritty sign.
Yeah.
It's a gritty sign. Yeah, sure. I think the other one's Eyeballers and then Anonymous. But yeah, no, this is a completely different team on LAN. And I think that one thing that we've heard from SDY, and also James Banks has talked to LMBT about it, is the fact that now with Bro in the lineup, they can actually play good CS. They can start playing the CS that a lot of Tier 1 teams would expect to see from other teams that are playing at their same level, as opposed to the high variance Boros all-in round-by-round style that they had to before, where you basically are just at the whim of your best entry fragger in the server. And, you know, it led them to a great showing at the major, coming into the playoffs and all that. But now we're seeing a completely different side of Monty, one that is much more fleshed out in terms of mid-rounding, in terms of structure.
Yeah, and tell me a little bit about this. You know, obviously SDY had some Navi time. Now he finds himself, he's got LMBT behind him. Tell me what SDY brings in the server.
He brings in experience, you know, and I think anyone who's worked with Blade ever in their career can bring in a lot to the teams. I think he was in Navi soaking it all in. Of course, individually speaking, didn't really work out for him in the Navi camp. Maybe he never got a real shot. He was put in positions that he didn't really feel comfortable in. But in terms of learning and gaining experience, I think playing with Blade and playing with Simple and playing with all these guys helped him out massively to become the in-game leader he is today.
And then when you get a new player on your team, right? When you look at, like, Bro, he's been there, what, a matter of days almost, if it sounds about right. You think about what he has to do and then with his utensils, his tools. You have Bro now in your lineup. What do you do with him?
This is such a crazy contrast. And what you do with him, Trace, is you use him to the best of his abilities, because they're getting more out of Bro than what Astral's talent did. Usually when you're on the worst team, Astral's talent in this case, you're going to be putting up even better numbers. You're usually going to see higher ADR, higher rating, but it's actually against Tier 1 competition where Bro is finding even better form. That's what's so surprising. That's what Pimp was talking about when we're talking about what is SDY bringing to the table. He knows how to use players like Bro to the fullest effect. And so for Bro right now, to me, he looks like kind of the X factor for this team, because we all kind of were looking at those Monty players, and they were known quantities. We saw them so many times at the major. But for Bro, when I was looking at this roster move, I thought that this was the biggest downgrade of practically anybody through the play-in stage, and I have been completely made a fool of, because Bro looks very solid on this Monty team.
So did it go from like Bro to bruh?
Bro.
It's like bruh.
Actually, it's actually kind of positive for Monty. Like,
no, absolutely.
Bro.
So in doing so, let's hear from SDY. Let's hear what he's got to say about his teammates and Monty going into this matchup. It's a big one for him.
SDY and Monty are about to take on Heroic, which is always a tricky matchup. And of course, back in Paris, it didn't end too well for you guys, unfortunately. So how different do you think the match is going to be today?
It only depends on ourselves. I think we have good preparation and we have interesting things to show them. But you never know how it ends. It's Counter-Strike. We will do our best.
Okay. Specifically about Bro, T-sides is something that's always difficult versus Heroic, and I guess even more difficult when you're incorporating him. He's been doing fantastically, but what will be the focus to make sure that those T-sides are locked down?
We just make sure that he feels comfortable in his roles, and That's for every player in our team. Actually, we just don't focus on someone specially, individually. We just focus on the team overall, on our pictures, like the team. So.
Final question. Yesterday, Heroic played a marathon versus the Mongols, and KDM was shouting a lot, and I know Demke also likes to shout a lot. So is there anything special prepared in that department? Are you going to go in?
I just hope that Demke have big lengths today and he can shout as loud as possible because they will be loud as well. So.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you.
We're going to jump right into what is Sumdai Young taking on Cadian here, but really, let's just address what's in the room. Not only do we have teams playing on land face-to-face going at each other, but it's pretty vibrant here. It gets pretty damn loud, and I think it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be very loud. And it